3 Feet High and Rising, an album by De La Soul, released on March 3rd, 1989, or released on March 3rd, 2023, depending on how you was listening to it. It's 23 songs, 1 hour and 3 minutes long. It is the debut album by now legendary rap group De La Soul. Where to begin with this one? You hadn't listened to this album before, had you?
I had not listened to this album before, no.
Neither had I. How many of the songs had you heard, if any?
I'd heard maybe 2 of the songs from this album.
The Magic Number?
The Magic Number. Oh, maybe 3, actually. I wasn't even thinking about that. The Magic Number.
Me, Myself, and I.
Me, Myself, and I.
And
Ghetto
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about the same. So I'd had Magic Number, Ghetto Thing, I Know, and Me, Myself, and I. So I was at 4. Excited to listen to this.
Yep.
I'd been mentioning it for a few months when I heard that De La Soul, well, back to last year, 2022, when I had the De La Soul had got their masters, and knowing that they would be releasing this on streaming platforms, and looking forward to actually having the access to listen to this album and really their whole catalog now. And it was beautiful seeing when this released and they had De La Soul Day and all the legends came out to perform with them and celebrate them, and seeing them go on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon and having Black Thought from the Roots perform True Goy's parts of this song, with him obviously sadly passing away. And it's sad they even get to see this day. This would have been a big fight for all 3 of them to get to this point. But that's the beauty of, I think, music, and beauty of leaving a mark on earth, is that your legacy is on even after your physical is gone. That rhymed, man. I might have to get back in the studio for real, because that was accidental. Bro.
Fam, Logic Pro X is ready to go whenever
niggas don't know, fam. Like I've been saying, the mixtape is coming. I'm waiting. 26, the same age that Hove was when he dropped Reasonable Doubt is the same age I'm gonna be when I drop Probable Cause. Like, fam, it's I've got the blueprint. Why would I not follow it? You know what I mean?
You didn't even change Probable Pause, bro.
No. So yeah, I was really excited to listen to this album. And we're gonna get into it. Obviously, one that has been revered by generations, 4 generations, and like I say, came out 89, so really is in that period between of New York rap, when you're about to switch from the Slick Ricks, Eric B. Rakims, Big Daddy Kane, Public Enemy, to the more Nas, Wu-Tang, Hove. Not Hove, because Hove's more late, but that type of Buster, that type of feel and sound. So it's really interesting to listen to this album sit between those 2 pockets and those 2 eras of hip hop. Something that came to mind, actually.
Yeah.
This past few weeks. Complete side note. This because I've mentioned him so many times on this podcast. When we talk about best British rappers,
where
do we put Slick Rick?
And
MF Doom.
That's a tough one. It's so
because niggas go straight to the Kano, Wretch, and Skepta. I'm like, bro, we've been out here since the 80s.
Yeah. No, yeah, we've been legendary in this game. We were
legendary before we were legendary. Do you know what I mean? Like, people talk about Skepta and these men as if they are the first legendary. Like, no. We've been legendary.
At all, bro. We really pioneered the game.
We pioneered the game.
Man, people don't know. Laddy Daddy, we came to party.
We came to party. And Snoop had to come and sample that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dre came and flipped that.
Flipping hell. Look at our reach is crazy.
Our lineage goes deep.
They'll be high. They'll be very high. It'll be so tough to rank them, though, because then I feel like the amount that they skew the rankings just based on their legendaryism. Wow, new word, TM. Just based on their legendaryism, it skews things. But then again, even our guys, the guys who we usually like run to, are legends themselves. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation.
I mean, they're behind Miss Banks, but I would still put them. Can I put them ahead of like, you know what I'm saying?
That's the behind Miss Banks. Yeah, you know, I maybe had to think. Who's Miss Banks? Oh, Miss Banks. Yeah.
Am I lying?
I was Novikov.
Am I lying?
You're not.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
being behind Miss Banks is the best place to be.
that's the best.
Anyway.
Top 3 joke you've ever said on this podcast, by the way. That was a leak. That was brilliant. That's just a good, solid joke. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get to the project.
Yes, sir.
Briefly, High and Rising. Initial thoughts and what themes were you picking out from this project?
It wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
And what did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be a very similar to how we were just speaking of, a very boom bap sounding album. I was getting ready, especially with me not having heard this album before, with me not knowing what songs were going to be on this album. All I really had to go off was what I saw from the De La Soul day where they were performing, and the songs that they were performing had, I don't know what the phrase is. I don't want to say boom bap, but it had that more. It had a very different vibe to it, a very different type of energy to it. So when I went into this album, my brain was naturally just saying, okay, we're probably going to get a lot of that vibe. And if that's the case, I'm very, very excited. It wasn't really that. It was more so, and the thing that kept on popping into my head every time I turned this album on and listened all the way through, it was palpable fun. Like, the album feels like they had so much fun making it. I can't describe it any other way. Like, literally beginning to end is like 3 men who were clearly friends, got onto an album together, and they just had fun making every single song. Like, it's fun beginning through end. And there's hidden messages in different places where I'm like, wow, you know what? If I wasn't listening to this for maybe the 3rd time, I wouldn't have even deeped how deep some of these songs are. Like, even like potholes on my lawn. Like, yo, I wasn't really deep in it, but I was like, oh, okay, cool, it's having fun. Or oh my gosh, what's the song? I'm forgetting the song. The one where Mr. Monkey and Mr. Seal and all the animals and that. I can't remember the name of the song now. It's not Tread Water, is it? It may be Tread Water. But there's just a lot of songs there where it's like, oh, this is deeper than what I would think it would be for an album where it feels like, oh, this group have come together and they're having fun. Like, I don't know how they balance the two, but they did a decent job of balancing the two. It doesn't sound how I thought it was going to sound, but it's a good album. I enjoyed myself listening to it. Palpable fun, beginning to end.
Yeah, man, fun is the key word. I was going to come in here and say the same thing. You got 3 friends who are just coming out to have fun on their debut album, which they really do. And like you say, they do that really well in terms of having fun on different tracks. Some of it leaning towards, more stupid fun, like the intro itself. They're coming back to that game show feel. Even songs like "Can You Keep a Secret?" Talk about niggas having dandruff and shit. And I don't know what the fuck am I listening to? Like, nigga, what? Like, okay, we don't tell me I have dandruff, bro. Like, you don't know my story. You don't know my story. Do you know what I'm saying? But then 2 songs later, you get Ghetto Thang, and Mary had a little lamb. That's a fib. She had 2 twins, though, in one crib. Now she's only 14. What a start! But this defect is ground common. Like,
man,
that bridging of that two completely parallel worlds, they did really, really well. Very, very. And then it wasn't a surprise when this nigga came on later on the track. Very Tribe Called Quest adjacent.
Yeah. Big facts.
Very, very people's instinctive travels adjacent. Like,
yep.
I don't eat no ham and eggs because they're high in cholesterol. Mrs. Fat Booty, but then you've got other tracks where they're actually talking some real shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh shit. You sometimes forget that these are teenagers, early 20s, in the 90s, in the 80s, just having fun, vibing out, using simplistic equipment to try and make songs, not even knowing that this could actually go big and they can make a living out of these rhymes that they were writing down on fucking school tables. Do you know what I mean? And you get that. You get all sides of that. So like you said, I think you said it really well. Like you get the fun, but then if you're not actually listening like we have to critique it, you would miss the messages that some of these songs have. And the messages there are really actually quite key and actually quite deep and introspective that you actually want to listen to. So I think they do that. They bridge that really well. Lyrics,
man. Man, I think similar to how we just said, man, where they're having fun, they're clearly having fun. And those are songs where the lyrics may not be as like, oh, okay, yeah, like I didn't know, I didn't catch this the first time, I didn't catch it the second time. Like, how can I put it? What song would it be? 1 second, let me find it. Daylight Orgy, skip, but it is what it is, you know. It's like it's a song that, not a song, but it's something you can skip if you want. Like it's not that deep. Whereas something like Tread Water, it's like, wow, okay, hold on. Like they're really talking. Like as you said, these are teenagers, but it sounds like they're grown men having lived a full life, like giving damn near messages, or not messages, what's the word I'm thinking of? Giving advice that I would give to someone coming up after me. But these are kids that are doing it. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Like just the analogies that they have throughout this whole album, and them this song, should I say, specifically Tread Water, where they're using the imagery of talking to different animals. And it's like just conversations, and they keep on coming to this idea of, you know, just tread water, like just keep your head above the water, you'll be all right. Like it's fine. For them to be able to keep on coming back to that whilst using the silly analogy, like, and I saw Mr. Crocodile. Mr. Crocodile said this, and then it's like, oh, it feels silly, but they're actually like spitting. Like if you really deep it, they're really talking. And I think they keep on doing that, and it's really impressive to me how they always get back to that.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. Even like on a song which can be heralded for its production, Me, Myself, and I, and the messaging of being proud of who you are, being solid in knowing that despite what the world tells you, you that nigga. For real. Not all of you can boast that. Some of you aren't him at all. You know what I'm saying? But some of us. Some of us.
Yes, sir.
Keep him.
Man.
Keep him. Man. That's not, if you're a woman, if you're non-binary, you can also be he, him. You know what I'm saying? Some of the realest women I know are he, hims for real. They got that dog in them. Not even that dog, they got that wolf in them, bro. They got that Jacob Cullen. Talk about that Twilight.
Real quick side note, by the way. And again, if you want to cut this, please do. I'm not asking you to keep this in at all. Did you know that fisherman wasn't just like the general term? I always thought like whether you're a woman, man, him, they, whatever, it was fisherman. You're a fisherman. Fair.
This is the thing about this world, bro. Everything is so like blatantly patriarchal and misogynistic that like we don't realize that there's a whole nother terminology. You know what I'm saying? Like,
carry on there, as you're saying.
But yeah, no, like they do that on songs like I say, Me, Myself, and I. You've already said Treadwater, Ghetto Thang as well, which is just
Yep.
Because again, you're coming off like, can you keep a secret? And Jennifer's taught me, and you're like, oh, they're just having fun. And then all of a sudden, it's like she's got a baby, but she's 14, and then instantly I'm like, oh shit, Do her and Brenda know each other?
Man. Man.
But the hip hop connected universe is mad. Because could you imagine it?
Man said Jennifer, Brenda, and oh my god, what's that girl that Shireen?
Sheree. It's crazy. They're just running around, just meeting each other.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And then they get together like the Avengers.
But
yeah, man.
Stanley and everything.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, no, I think I think there's songs where they're really spitting, and you can see the influence that they would then have on the projects that were to come in the 90s. It actually surprised me when I realized the date that this came out before People's Instinctive Travels, Down the Path of Rhythm, Tribe Called Quest, because I always, in my head canon, and obviously, like I said, this is my first time listening to this full album, but in my head canon, I always have Tribe Called Quest, and obviously Q-Tip is on this project. Q-Tip produced some songs on this project. Q-Tip was active in rap going back to 85, 84. So his influence is undeniable. But I always see it as like Tribe Called Quest album launched this whole genre of rap. But to know that there was actually albums that came out prior, like the first single off this album came out in 88. You know what I mean? So like we're talking a good 2 years before we see a People's Instinctive Travels. Do you know what I'm saying? We're talking a good 3-4 years before we see Busta on Scenario. So you're seeing this influence that they were having in the game, and it makes De La Soul Day that we just saw at the beginning of this month of March make even more sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes even more sense why you're seeing Queen Latifah there, why you're seeing the Roots there, why you're seeing Common there, and all these people there, because it's like their influence and their ability to sit in those two pockets. So we gonna have fun as kids and rap on, you know, the old school type, you know, vibe. But then also we're gonna tell you some stories, and we're also gonna go deeper, and actually we're gonna do what hip hop actually does better than any other form of art on the planet, of actually recanting some of the horrors and difficulties of real life.
See, it feels like this, that as much as I think social media has probably been a net negative, it has its positives, because I would have loved to be able to like go on socials and see maybe like the influence that the two groups had on each other.
Yeah.
Because Q-Tip is on this album, so clearly there was a relationship. And I would have loved to see, maybe they were friends, maybe they were cool, or was it literally just this one feature? Who inspired who? Like, how did that? I would have loved to see them be able to go back and like actually see some of the inspirations. And maybe it's somewhere. Maybe I just have to go and do the research. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
I would say Q-Tip influenced everyone. Like, it's that simple. Like, Q-Tip was an active producer, big producer, 5 years before his debut album for his group came out. So when Q-Tip is on People's Instinctive Travels and Jerobe's there introducing the whole group, and so we got the conductor, Q-Tip. Q-Tip needed no introduction because he was already like one of the biggest names in rap. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when Nas dropped in 94. Like, that's I think that is one of the biggest differences between the rap game then and the rap game now. Like, we will hear about someone now because we have a presence. They've dropped a song that's gone big. Like an Ice Spice has dropped a song that's gone big. A Glorilla has dropped a song that's gone big. Like a Little Baby drops a Little Baby, like his freestyle, for example, and you hear it everywhere. And you're like, oh shit, who is this person? Back then, it was all word of mouth. You might not have heard that tape that Q-Tip has a couple samples on or a couple tracks on, but you've heard that name bubbling for years and years and years, and you're just waiting for, okay, the day that he drops and his group drops, I'm going to get that. I'm gonna spend my bread on that, or I'm gonna get a bootlegger to get me that. I'm gonna make sure I get this Nas tape because I heard this guy rap back on one track in 1991 and it was crazy. So I'm just waiting for the day that he gets his own mixtape that I can listen to, and then Illmatic drops, and now you actually get to listen to it. It's the difference. So Q-Tip, to answer your question, assume that Q-Tip influenced everyone. Even
Fair.
Michael Jackson.
Fair. That's of course he might influence Michael Jackson. You heard Michael Jackson?
No, for real.
Oh man. All right, what's the next category? Production. A1. Flipping A1. I
Audi
love
A1.
the production. Fam, Audi A1, A1 source, A1 grade. I don't know if that's how GCSEs work. Is it a letter and a number?
No, it's just a number, bro.
Damn. Those niggas don't know the pain.
They don't know the pain.
Damn, my God. Ugh. Nah, man. I think the production on this album is fantastic. I go to a Ghetto Thang, like you've spoken about some of the messaging on Ghetto Thang. The production in Ghetto Thang is amazing. Okay. The cadence that they choose to rap with on Ghetto Thang is fantastic. Me, myself, and I is me, myself. Like, if you sample the Funkadelics, I'm all in. Like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, you've got me.
Message to modern day artists, by the way.
But we don't sample it enough. It's right there. Just You can't miss.
You can't miss. You cannot miss.
That is a layup.
There's certain Funkadelics, Isley Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Redding, which is on here. There's some that you're not gonna miss.
Bro,
someone should get me in the studio. I'll get you a hit album for easy. We're gonna have to spend money.
Listen, nothing in this life comes free.
If you can rap on beat, I promise you, I know the song that we should be sampling.
Fam, I have a book. It's a one-page book, but it's a book.
We're not going stray too far. We got sample 8 Isley Brothers songs, bro.
Yeah, bro. Oh my God, I'll dominate the whole game if they let me in. Nah, man, I think the production on this album is fantastic. The sequencing is really good. Again, and I'm gonna keep on going to the same messaging because it's what this album is to me. They'll have a song where they're having fun, and they'll go into a song where they're talking. And I think the balance of the two isn't jarring because of how the album is sequenced. And I think it very easily could have been jarring if, say, all the fun songs were at the beginning and all the serious songs were at the end, or vice versa. It would have been like, oh, what are we doing? I would have come in today and said, oh, it's like 2 different albums that were kind of smushed together. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like every song should have been on this album because they sequenced it in such a way where it never goes, you never spend too long in a world where, oh, there's like serious messages here, or you never spend too long in a world where it's like, oh, these guys are just having like blatant fun. And that's, again, to the production. Whoever put this album together, hats off to you, man. Great.
How did you feel about the length of it? Because you mentioned, obviously, the sequencing. But it's a longer album, obviously not for the time, but for our modern day attention spans.
Long, very long album. It took me, honestly, and this isn't a slight to the album, but it took me a while to listen to the whole album because I haven't been in a situation recently where I've just been able to block off. How long's the album? It's like damn near an hour or something.
Hour and 3 minutes.
Hour, 3 minutes. I haven't been able to block off that much time where, okay, there isn't something else I need to do on my phone that's playing the music, or there isn't something else I don't have to get up and go somewhere else. So it's been tough to listen to the whole album, and I've only managed to do it maybe 4 or 5 times in this last 2 weeks, which is saying something, because usually for these album reviews, I'm able to sit down and listen to the album a good number of times. And we've had longer to review this one. So I think it's a longer feeling album, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad thing, because I think the album, again, as a whole, it gets better if you listen to it beginning to end. If that makes sense. It's not an album that, okay, I've listened to half of it. If you listen to half the album, it's a cool album. If you listen to 3/4 of the album, it's a cool album. If you listen to a full album, it's like a very good album.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes to say that there's probably no songs you can really take out because every song works to add something to the album that hadn't been added before, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a longer album. I would have loved if they managed to condense it, it would have been great for modern day. But I'm not complaining at the length.
Yeah, it's one of them. And to go back to your previous question about production, is all tracks were produced by Principal.
Wow.
Producer, Principal.
Wow. One producer for the whole thing. That's crazy.
And obviously Daylar as well on their input. Yeah, Principal produced all the tracks, and obviously different producers came in. So like Q-Tip was producing some of his tracks and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. So answers that question. Yeah, I feel you. It's like if it was a modern day project, I'd say get rid of all those fucking skits.
Yeah,
but I mean, I was about to say it's a 90s project, so it's an 80s project, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't really care about this stupid game of fake Jeopardy. Oh, I'm from Australia, mate. You just get to the bars. Get to the fucking bars. But the production is really, really good. The production is really, really good. Like on each individual song. The different songs have their own character and personality, which allows the artist's personality and character to shine through as well. So yeah, the production is A plus plus. A plus production.
What I will say, by the way, because if I don't say it, I'll kick myself, because they tried to spin me and they almost did. Me not knowing or doing any prior research before listening to this album was very confused when they kept on saying Mace. I was like, Mace was at that time, like, oh fuck no, what's going on? Now I understand why Mace's name kept on coming up, because he's clearly a member of the group. But at the time, it was very confusing for me, and it took me through a whole range of emotions. But we're here now. We're here.
We were talking about Mace, the Mace that was keeping the lights on.
I was like, wow, so he went from De La Soul to Big. Okay, all right, I see the. So Diddy, it's not really on Diddy for recognizing him.
Could you imagine Mace? Oh my goodness. Speaking of which, man, Cam and Mace have the best sports talk show in the world. Cam and Mace have the best. Cam is the best. Like, we need to wrap up this podcast soon, but I can't leave without saying that Cam is the fucking best. These kids don't know about Cam.
We needed a sports talk show where they just spoke the facts.
Bro,
none of the political stuff. So a sports show where they say pause
every 2 seconds.
I wear suits.
Guys, he was driving it to the. And then Joel was driving it to the hole. Pause. Like, and he took the double team. Pause. Cam's the best. Cam is the best. And you know why Cam's the best? Because Cam has been successful. Cam's in that 50 era where he's been successful in so many different facets that he just does shit.
Yep.
He just does shit to do it.
You can tell it's just something he's like, I can do that.
Bro, this time 2 years ago, Cam was on his Instagram pushing a sex enhancement pill. And the way he was pushing it was by documenting an affair that he was allegedly having with his next door neighbor who was married. And he was posting on Instagram Live. And now he has a sports talk show which Amazon wants to pick up.
Yeah.
Cam is the best.
Oh my God.
Cam is the best. And this is why I'm really glad that Lupe is about to get an award, actually. Some rap laureate award for the rap hip hop course that he's been doing at MIT or wherever which university.
It's been beautiful.
This is why I love the fact that exists, because eventually there will be a place that I can send stupid individuals to learn about the greatness of Cam. Because I saw someone tweet in the past few weeks, "What does Cameron be rapping about?" Are you fucking insane?
That's crazy.
Are you dumb?
Crazy.
Are you dizzy?
Crazy statement.
Cam.
Ridiculous statement.
Let's talk about your favorite songs off this project, please, man. In reverse order, 3 to 1.
3-1. Tough. Because it kind of swaps for me between 1 and 2. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Jennifer Taught Me.
Okay.
Great song, man. It's one of those, again, production wise. You start a song off, should I say, with record scratching, all in, me personally. The song as a whole, great, fun song, man. Jennifer Taught Me. Yeah, it's just a great song. I really enjoy the song. Jennifer Taught Me. So that's my number 3. Number 2. I go 2 ways and it swaps every time. I'm going to go with Get a Thang, man. Get a Thang. Could have easily been number 1. I'm going to put it in number 2. I think the cadences they choose when they're rapping on the song, insane. As we've already said, the messaging is unbelievable. Is one of my highlights of this album. It's one of the songs that, and it's it's 7 songs in, but this is one of the songs that kind of changes the whole vibe of the album, damn near. It's such a good song. I was shocked as well because Apple Music put stars next to the popular songs of an album, and this one didn't have a star next to it. So I was kind of shocked at first, especially after my 3rd listen or so, when I realized that, okay, this is the song that gets me very, very hyped on this, and it's not one of the more popular songs off this album. But yeah, it's a fantastic song, man. And then number 1, Me, Myself, and I told you, man, you sampled the Funkadelics, I'm all in. There's no hesitation in my heart. I'm here, beginning 10 toes down. Like, it's that deep for me, man. Me, Myself, and I is fantastic.
Yep, I got you. So I'm very, very, very similar. I've just got I Know at 3. As my 3. I Know with the Otis Redding sample, which I think was just beautiful. Love the production, love that rapping on that. So I got I Know at 3, and I'm keeping it there. Get a Thing at 2, Me, Myself, and I at 1. Exact same reasons that you mentioned. I think the lyricism on Get a Thing and the juxtaposition that it is from songs like Can You Keep a Secret and the skits, and it actually does represent a distinct change through the rest of the album, I think is key. And then Me, Myself, and I is Me, Myself, and I, man. It's legendary for a fucking reason. It's legendary for a fucking reason.
Yep. Big facts, man. All right. Scales time?
Take it to the scales.
All right. So the scale, Two Stubborn Nigerian scale. So the Two Stubborn Nigerian scales go as such. I hate that I ever listened to this. Won't be listened to again. Whole lot of mid. Might stay in rotation for about a week. Pretty damn good. Serious project. And then either me and or Paul can give it our Two Stubborn Nigerian stamp. And either me and or Paul can give it our 50% stamp of approval. In the case that we both give it our 50% stamp of approval, the album will become Two Stubborn Nigerian approved. Paul, what are you giving this album?
A serious project, man. Serious project. That's what it is, and that's what it will remain. It's a legendary, seminal hip-hop album. I think now that it is freely accessible on streaming platforms, I do think it is essential listening to anyone who claims to be a hip-hop head. So those of you out there who potentially haven't listened to this in your life for one reason or another, go ahead and cop that, listen to that, digest that. But yeah, man, I got it as a serious project. The production's great, the rap is great, it's fun, it's vibrant, and it's revolutionary in its own self. So I go serious project.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I have it as a serious project. I think it's one of those, especially knowing its impact moving forward since the album dropped. I don't think I can put it any lower than very serious. I don't know if I necessarily have it as a stamp. I don't think I can give it my stamp personally, just because I'm not sure if it's up there for me, but I'm very happy I listened to it. There's definitely a few songs from here that I think will stay in rotation for the rest of the year for sure. I think the album will definitely get more love from me moving on through the year as well. It is a great album. It's a great album, and it makes sense why it's been an album that I've heard so much about throughout the last few years. So, yeah, very serious project. All right, cool. So that was 3 Feet High and Rising by
Rest in
De
peace,
La
Detroit
Soul.
boy. Rest in peace,
Rest in
Detroit boy.
peace. Rest in peace, man. I'm so happy for them, especially now that they have their master for this, and for them to be getting the love that they're getting for this album. So happy for them. So happy for them. I'm happy we reviewed this album, man. It's been one that we've been wanting to review for a while now, but we said we'll wait until they drop it, until they're gonna get their money for us actually listening to it.
Yep.
So, man, shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Big shout out.
Thank you guys for listening. If you are listening to this point, please remember that you can follow us on our socials at 2S Nigerians on Twitter and at 2_stubborn_Nigerians on Instagram and on TikTok. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Two Stubborn Nigerians. Please like the video, share the video, leave a comment, ring the notification bell, subscribe as ever, and give us some recommendations. Give us some albums that you want us to review on this podcast. If you want us to review an album and we agree that it's an album that should be reviewed, send it in, we'll review it, and we'll give you a shout out as well. Nice way to interact with some of you guys, find out what you're listening to, some of the albums that you love, and we'll give you our honest opinion on them. But yeah, other than that, do you have any last remarks for the people?
Do I have any last remarks for people? Free Push Ice-T. Because music ain't been the same.